on his dying bed at the close of day. Oh, bury me in
All
love
right, YouTube.
and his voice.
Hello, everybody. It's been a long time since we've done one of these. Want to say hi, Jessica? Hi. Hello, invisible people. All right. So, another live hangout, another live chat. If you are watching live, make sure you're signed into YouTube. And you could ask your questions or post your comments as we go. How's it going, everybody? All right. Let's see. See, I'm not in the mood for answering questions right now. I'm more in the mood for asking questions myself. But let's see how this goes. All right. That was funny. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and he was talking about his diet. He's an older guy, 74. Oh, there's Ryder. Ryder's waking up. He's 74 years old, an older guy, and he had a heart attack like 10 years ago. So he tries to keep his diet right in certain ways. So he told me he avoids meat. I mean, it really pointed it out to me, and I don't know. It was just kind of a reminder of how many. There's so many people are coming from so many different places, right? I mean, the mainstream view on cholesterol level, animal products, fats, and its connection with cardiovascular disease, heart attacks. We're really misinformed about these things. And my friends who I'm talking about, his brother's a doctor. So when he gets blood work, his brother kind of helps him look at it and go through it. But the dogma is really deeply entrenched. People really believe that a vegetarian diet is a healthy way to go about it, that a vegan diet, eating no animal products at all, is a good idea. And but when you actually look at how it plays out in the real world, unfortunately, it just doesn't seem to work anymore. It just doesn't work like that. Animal products bad, fat bad, cholesterol bad. People don't understand. Dietary cholesterol does not influence serum cholesterol levels. And that's been shown recently with scientific studies. The gods of the modern age, science, the word of science, the spoken. But yeah, it's a funny thing. There's just so many different opinions out there, so many different ways to go about things. We got a zero carber named Kate Davis. It says 0 carbs. So got an all carnivorous diet. Kate Davis, I would love to see a scan of your heart and your cholesterol levels. I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's funny. If you went to your doctor, you told him you were eating a 0 carb diet, that you were eating nothing but like meat, fish, and eggs. Do you eat eggs on your 0 carb? Armand says my arteries are not clogged. We got Armand in Sweden. We've got NSA is watching us. We've got Brooke Barlow. Hey, Ariana, how's it going? Good. You're so awesome. Where are you going? You look so serious. You're on a mission? No. What's your mission? Nothing? You just looked at me so serious, like you needed to go. We got people in the Great Lakes state. We've got New Zealand. We've got Patrick Wolf. What's up, Patrick Wolf? Wow, dude. All right, Patrick Wolf says, thank you so much for your channel. Lost 92 pounds and counting because of your tips. That's amazing. 92 pounds. Congratulations, Patrick. But, and I know I've done this before, and I really do genuinely mean it. It's not, you didn't lose 92 pounds and counting because of my tips. You lost 92 pounds and counting because you decided you needed to lose that weight. You lost it because you did the work. I didn't do the work for you. I could just transmit some information and transmit some knowledge to you through this medium, but I can't do it for you. You lost that weight. Don't give me props for it. Props to you, my friend. Congratulations. Amber says, I can't believe how big Ryder's getting. Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing. Sneeze. All right. Kate Davis says, love me some Johnny Cash. All right. Dominic says, what are your thoughts on McGregor and Mayweather? I don't know. Thoughts? I mean, thoughts on McGregor Mayweather. Are you asking? I mean, if you're asking for a prediction, I have no prediction. Anything could happen. I'm excited to see it, though. Thoughts on Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor? When I first heard of it, I thought that's kind of stupid. Who cares? But I'll watch it anyways, obviously. Um, but yeah, the closer it's getting to the fight. Of course, I'm not a boxing expert or an MMA expert. I've followed UFC for a while. I followed mixed martial arts and boxing. So I used to do Taekwondo when I was a little kid. Not for very long. But yeah, I don't know thoughts on it. I mean, obviously, if it was Mayweather versus McGregor in an MMA fight, everybody knows what would happen there, right? McGregor would dominate. But we've got Mayweather McGregor in a boxing match with 8-ounce gloves. It's going to be really interesting. I don't know. I would love. I mean, it's like the integrity. Somebody had put up a video and said something like McGregor versus the integrity of boxing. And the boxers. I mean, the boxing crowd will be up in arms if McGregor. I mean, if McGregor takes out Mayweather, it's fascinating, right? If Mayweather dips and dodges and does the usual game, plays hard to get, and wins the fight, I don't know, not that entertaining, not that interesting. If Mayweather goes out there and just makes an example out of McGregor, maybe knocks him down a few times, and just totally dominates him, not just defensive boxing, that would be pretty interesting as well. But shoot, I don't know. I want to see Mayweather win. He has like a baby boy. I don't know. I got a baby boy. I don't know. He seems like it seems like he could win. He could win. Of course, the odds are all against him. If I was going to put money, if I was going to bet, I'd be betting on McGregor because the odds are just so stacked against him. And if you flip that, you can make some cash. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. All right, 0 Point says, day 83 of keto diet, 47 pounds down. Thanks for all your videos. They've helped a lot. Thank you, 0 Point. Okay, Walter says, where did you live before? Where did I live before? Well, I've lived many places, my friend. Most around California. Okay. We got some. Kate Davis says Mayweather is a dirtbag. I never met the guy. I don't know. In the media, he's a terrible dirtbag. But he's a great athlete, right? Like anybody who lives in such an insulated world, right, where you can control everything around you for the most part, don't have to deal with anything you don't want to deal with for the most part. Some of those people can get way out there. I mean, look at like all the vapid celebrity culture in the United States. I mean, Mayweather's a dirtbag, but what is Mayweather but just a reflection of kind of the collective desire for these false idols, right? Everybody's glued to the TV. Everybody wants somebody to hate. Everybody wants somebody to love, to worship, right? So then you get the media throwing out now it's Trump now, right? Before it was Obama, the Obama worship, and then Bush was this, the devil Bush, and then the devil Trump, and it's just, I mean, people need something to hate. The stars, the fallen stars. All right. Chris Miller says, I intermittent fast with a keto diet, and I do 1 to 2 meals a day in a 4-hour window for fat loss, and I've lost 40 pounds. Is it safe to do daily intermittent fasting for long periods of time? Yes, absolutely safe to do daily intermittent fasting for long periods of time. In your context, when you obviously have a lot of weight to lose, right? If you lost 40 pounds, I assume you've got more body fat to lose. In that context, yeah, totally safe. There's certain contexts when intermittent fasting is not going to be ideal. Children, for instance, you don't want to intermittent fast children who are growing. Just like I wouldn't want to put my children on a ketogenic diet because I don't want to restrict their hunger. Also, I don't know, maybe pregnant women might want to avoid long-term intermittent fasting. Women with thyroid issues probably don't want to jump in intermittent fasting, stress the body out like that. So, yeah. All right, John Smith says, they say muscle mass helps with longevity, but also eating fewer calories helps with longevity. Oh, the paradox. Yeah, this kind of comes down to like the insulin paradox, right? Or the mTOR paradox, right? Because they've done studies where if you maintain low insulin levels in rats and in most animals and calorie restrict them, they'll live longer. But there becomes a point of diminishing returns where we can't all just fast our way into longevity, right? Like you have to maintain this vessel as well. So it's all about balance, right? We need feeding and we need fasting. You need times of abundance and times of lack for your body to get, the nutrition it needs and to get into the autophagy states that will help to reduce inflammation and reduce hunger and get rid of some of that gunk in the body that you don't want in there. All right, Andre Donsoon says, people have said it's unhealthy to remove or restrict carbs from our diets. It's pretty much facepalm every time. I wish I had an adequate response when this is said. Let's just stop arguing with invisible people with your mind. How about that? It's like you're worried about what all these people are thinking and saying. People say it's unhealthy to restrict carbs. Who cares what people say? Is it unhealthy to restrict carbs? Do you believe it's unhealthy to restrict carbs? When people say it to you, do you allow it to enter into your psyche and to lodge itself in there like a splinter in your mind and scream at you all the time and make you argue with an invisible thing that's not even there? This is an issue, right? This is like a constant stress if we're constantly arguing with fake things in our mind. Don't worry about what people are saying. That everybody knows that feeling when you're hanging out alone, but you're having like this conversation, this hypothetical fake conversation, arguing with somebody about something that's not even happening right now. I mean, these are just, we can get so lost in some of these things. Who cares what people say, man? Andre Donsoon, if you think a low carb diet is good for you, if you believe it's good for you, if you enjoy doing it, if you're getting good results, then what does it matter what other people's flapping gums are spitting at you? Who cares? All right. Dante Keys says, what do you think about water fasting? I'm 4 days into one, and it seems like a good way to get into ketosis and kickstart a keto diet. All right. Yeah. Water fasting is a good way to get into ketosis. But why do you want to get into ketosis? Water fasting can be a really powerful tool. My thoughts on it, I think a lot of things about water fasting, right? Like, what do you think about water fasting? I think it's a really powerful tool that can be dangerous, just like a knife, right? It's like you can use this knife to, last thing it looks like it was used for was cutting a box open. Cut a box open with this, or, remove a splinter, or you could use it as a weapon to kill or maim something. Same thing with fasting. I mean, you can use it as a tool for taking control of your habits. Anybody who's done a long-term fast and you're 4 days into a fast realizes just how much the flesh controls us every day, right? Like, our stomach can be one of the guiding forces of our behavior if we don't keep it in check. And when we realize by removing that stimulus, by removing the food for several days, when you do something like that, it can be a really powerful experience of getting control of your mind, your consciousness, and what you're doing in the moment. But it can, like the flip side of it is, it can be a dangerous thing that can become like an eating disorder, right? It can be something that's used to justify major eating disorders. And when you look at some of the people who are actually talking about fasting now, it really concerns me, right? You got people who obviously have disordered eating in the past and the present. I'm not going to name names here. People who know what I'm talking about, right? I will never starve myself on a high carb diet. It's high fat diet for life, but just still yo-yo dieting, never losing the weight, and saying, oh yeah, calories don't matter on keto. It's just because I'm insulin resistant that I keep gaining this weight back. And it's not my adherence. I'm not doing other things, but sometimes I post pictures on Instagram of cheat meals and stuff like that and say, live a little. But then the same guys out there promoting fasting as like a way to get healthy and a way to lose weight. As a fat loss tool, sure, fasting will make you lose fat. You're also going to lose some muscle tissue. But ketosis helps you maintain lean muscle, and that muscle tissue that's lost seems to regenerate a little bit quicker, and your body can volumize those muscles because the fibers don't seem to go away. But you can lose lean muscle tissue, and it can be a real big stressor for some people, and it's not forming a foundation of habits that you can use long-term to maintain that fat loss. I hope that makes sense. So fasting, sure, like short-term fat loss fasting, or, as a spiritual practice, that's what I think it's most powerful as an adjunct to your connection to God, right? I mean, that what happens when you fast? You get in a profoundly deep sense of awareness of everything around you, but also we become really aware of things that are in us and how this informs what's happening around us and vice versa. And you can really, I mean, the mind is an amazing filter. And it's incredible how much of reality gets filtered out and how much of our consciousness gets wasted just on nonsense every day, right? Like how much of your mind power gets wasted on hypothetical fake conversations in your mind that are never going to happen, right? Just your ego blabbering at itself. Like, yeah, if that guy said this to me, I'd be like, well, you're a jerk, right? Or like, oh yeah, if that guy cut me off and I was in the street and I got punched with it. Like how much energy goes into this nonsense, or arguing with people about fake politics on the internet? How much energy gets wasted flipping on the news in the morning and watching Fox News or what now it's MSNBC, CNN, for them to tell you the newest fear porn of the day, or what is the terrible catastrophe that happened last night that the president said. What is this nonsense if we waste our consciousness on all this fake right? If you dial it in, you stop feeding yourself the nonsense. You stop watching TV. You stop arguing with people about BS on Facebook. You delete your Facebook account. Or you do something like a real fast where you're not eating any food. Then we kind of get confronted with a choice of what do I do with this energy that I've been wasting so long that I'm choosing not to waste now. And then we realize just how much of our energy has been wasted for how long of our life. And it can be crushing sometimes. But at the same time, it's liberating because that energy is now freed up to a certain extent, right? You can see it. You can feel it now. Okay, now what do I do with my life? Now that I'm not spending all this time obsessing over the food or doing this or that, what am I doing with my consciousness, with my mind, with my heart throughout the day, right? What is my intention? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do I eat what I eat? You know, when our consciousness gets freed up from the nonsense that we get distracted with, which there's an entire system meant to distract us with this nonsense and enslave us mentally and physically, right? The mental slavery comes first. So yeah, it's like, stop watching TV. Get off of freaking Facebook. Stop reading the fake BS that's put out there, the corporate propaganda news. Stop reading this shit. Stop reading this filth. Stop listening to it. Stop watching it. See what happens. See how many of your opinions are really your opinions. Ooh. Yeah, fast can be powerful. I don't know how I got off on that. Maybe instead of fasting off of food, more people should fast off of social media and news media. The media in general, just the filth that gets pumped out of there on the television to distract us, to inform us with a false reality and get us to co-create this false reality along with this whole grid, right? If we pull our energy back, then we can make a decision. What am I going to do with my mind today? What am I going to do with my body today? What a weirdo. What are you talking about, man? Talk about keto. How many grams of fat today? All right, 50 Shades of Trauma. See, that's what's up. That's what, you know what the media does to you? You know what the news does? You know what watching television does to us? It induces 50 shades of trauma constantly traumatizing people, constantly putting you in a state of fear, agitation, hatred, spite, right? These things are more toxic than processed carbohydrates or trans fats, right? Bitterness, hate, fear, far more toxic. Get off social media. All right. Should I intermittently fast to exhaust the extensive glucose I consumed? Today, I maintain my macros to get back on track. Okay, Jennifer is asking. She slipped up on her diet, and she wants to intermittent fast to try to get back into ketosis. Sure, an intermittent fast might get you into ketosis quicker. Fasting can put you into ketosis. But like I said earlier, fasting is not creating – this camera's all shaking. Fasting is not creating long-term sustainable habits. Intermittent fasting, however, can be a habit that could be sustained long-term, but it shouldn't be something that you're using as like a bandage or a crutch, right? Look, you messed up on your macros. You ate more carbs than you wanted to eat. Well, actually, you wanted to eat those carbs or you wouldn't have eaten them. You got tricked into it. You know, little mental parasites won that time. Whatever. 1 round. It's all good. Get back into it. Do what you want to do with your diet. Get back what you're shooting for and just move forward. The intermittent fasting to get back into ketosis, this and that. Don't worry about being in ketosis. What is your goal with your diet? 50 Shades, or what was your name? Sarah? I forget. But it depends. Like, why do you need to get back into ketosis so fast? You'll be back into ketosis once your glycogen is depleted. You'll get right back in, and, you know, depending on your level of adaptation, which most people who are going through this cycle, it's in the beginning of keto, right? Most people who are asking questions like this, you're starting out keto, right? So it's like, you know, started my diet. It's been 2 weeks. I was doing pretty good. Then I ate a bunch of carbs and now I feel so crappy, maybe physically crappy, maybe mostly psychologically because I, you know, feel guilty or shamed about it or whatever. Drop the guilt and the shame. Make your decisions. There's no guilt or shame if you see your mistake and learn from it. There's no reason to feel guilty if, like, you know, you step on someone's foot and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. There's no guilt or shame in that. But if, like, you stomp someone's foot and then you, like, maybe you should feel like a jerk. I don't know how good that metaphor is. All right. Briar Rose says, last Friday I bumped up my carbs a bit, calling it keto, feeling more satisfied. Okay, cool, man. That's good. We got a lot of, man, we got so many people watching. This is crazy. All right, we got a lot of viewers. If you guys are new to this, if you guys are new to the Hangouts, this is where I see what you say and I talk to a screen that has like a little image of me moving in the corner. All right, Fabian Martinez says, well, what up, Tristan? I'm training for a police physical agility test in 24 days. How do you recommend introducing carbs for extra energy during this intense training and test day? Thanks, brother. All right, man. Fabian, fantastic question. I hope you're still watching because you asked that question like 10 minutes ago. So here's what's up. First of all, you do not need carbs for moderate performance exercise, right? Like moderate intensity, weightlifting, stuff like that, where it's, yes, weightlifting, heavy glycogen usage. But even in the heaviest of heavy resistance training workouts, you don't deplete glycogen. You'll never deplete glycogen by more than like 50%. Okay, so glycogen stores can also be refilled in the complete absence of carbohydrate. You don't need carbs to refill glycogen. You don't need carbs for anaerobic activity or moderate aerobic intensity activity. But what you're doing is a police physical agility test in 24 days. So I don't know what that really entails. But, all right, I'll give you one example of somebody that I worked with recently. All right, so there's a guy. He's a college student. He's a football player. He actually plays something called floorball. And he's in Switzerland. So this floorball is about 2 20-minute rounds, 2 20-minute halves, rather. And they're running around, basically playing like a cross between hockey and football, soccer, to the Americanos out there. Basically playing that game for 40 minutes. So it's heavy anaerobic activity, meaning sprinting, intense glycogen usage periodically, followed by just consistent running around the field for 40 minutes. So that type of activity will warrant, not even warrant, it's not necessary. You could still do it. But you might perform better with more carbohydrate. And it might take a little bit of a load off the body because that body is going to have to create a certain amount of glucose to feed parts of the brain and to refill glycogen stores, right? So this is what we do in that case. In his case, I had him drop his fats back by 15 grams before his games and increase his carbohydrate through, we actually used honey for him, wild honey. It's a good mix of glucose and fructose. So some people prefer to use strictly glucose-based stuff when they're doing something like this, which would technically fall under the what some people call a targeted ketogenic diet, where you do a ketogenic diet and then increase the carbohydrates just around training, which will give you that extra boost from the glycogen stores, give you that extra boost of carbohydrate energy when you need it, but then you just be right back into ketosis afterwards because you're running around like a madman for 40 minutes. So in his case, we dropped fats back by about 15 grams to kind of stay calorically stable, and we increased his carbohydrates by about 30 grams before his game. And it worked really well for him. He had been doing a ketogenic diet for about 4 months. It wasn't probably wasn't optimal. I think his electrolytes were a little bit off. So once that was corrected, he probably would have gotten much better performance. And it takes time to have a high level of performance while you're on a ketogenic diet. It does take time to adapt, but about 4 months of adaptation time is plenty. Anyways, in his case, it ended up working really well. He kept feeling flat during games, felt a little bit flat-footed, was getting burning through his legs, which is a sign of electrolyte imbalance. Anyways, the 30 grams of carbohydrates before his games was really, really helpful. So that is one regimen that could be helpful to higher level athletes who are using both anaerobic and aerobic energy fuels or doing anaerobic and aerobic activity. That is a nice healthy medium where you stay low carb, but just before the game, you have about 30 grams of carbs. But also, this is a little caveat that I forgot to add. What we did is we titrated in carbohydrates because he hadn't had carbs in like 4 months, right? So I had him practice for 3 days and increase his carbs by 30 grams for the 3 days before it, because he was having some like mild practices and stuff, like not too intense. But we had him increase his carbs a little bit for the days before that, just to get the body used to taking up that glycogen, taking in that glucose again. Because remember, when you're on a ketogenic diet, you get something called physiological insulin resistance, peripheral insulin resistance. This is when your muscle tissues and many of your tissues in your body reject glucose. On a ketogenic diet, you're using fatty acids. You're using the fat droplets that are stored in the blood. Sorry, not the blood, in the muscles. You're also liberating fatty acids from fat storage and dietary fat, of course. Because remember, if you eat dietary fat, you'll burn that before you burn body fat. So your peripheral tissues will actually become insulin resistant so that your liver can partition the glucose that's needed for parts of the brain and for other organs in the body that need some glucose, mostly the brain. So you become physiologically insulin resistant. It's a normal part of a high-fat diet. It's actually a normal response of the human body to even a high-fat meal. One high-fat meal can cause insulin resistance, but it's not hepatic insulin resistance like high-carb diets create. Right? Carbohydrates, overfeeding carbohydrate can create insulin resistance in the liver, which is very different from peripheral insulin resistance, which is desired in ketosis because, remember, glucose is still important for the brain. Yes, your body can make glucose, but gluconeogenesis is a very energy expensive process. It's not easy for your body to do. So your body prefers to not have to do it when it doesn't have to. So saves that glucose for the brain. So anyways, I hope that helps, man. Titrating in some carbs around training while decreasing the fats around training a bit so you stay about energy stable can be really helpful for certain contexts. Now, I'm not saying everybody that lifts weights 3 times a day should do this, or 3 times a week rather, should do this. This is not something that I even do myself. All right. But in context, it can work, right? It's not just about, oh, well, what I do is right, so everybody's got to do that. It's not how it works. Physiology doesn't respond like that. We all actually have our individual context and intentions that we're using our diet to, to achieve within. And we all have different responses, different goals, and different requirements dietarily. So what works for me might not work for you. But, Fabian, I hope that helps, man. All right, I'm scrolling all the way down to the new questions. What's up, everybody? Whoa, 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 whoa. Look at, there's so many people. Okay. All right. Why are people arguing? All right. I don't know. All right. Stop arguing. Don't come on here and argue amongst yourselves, try to start fights with each other. If you have questions, ask questions. Good. Why are you guys arguing with each other? All right. Clary Dent says, been on keto for 2 weeks now. Haven't lost any weight. Could it be the milk in my coffee? All right. If you're doing a ketogenic diet, milk shouldn't be a part of that diet. Milk is a quite high carbohydrate food. You're probably only using a little bit of milk in that coffee. But when you ask me that, you say, been on a ketogenic diet for 2 weeks, haven't lost any weight. Why do you expect to lose weight just because you're on a ketogenic diet? Right? Like, and I don't know what you're doing. Like, if you're doing a ketogenic diet and eating as much fat as you possibly can, like some of these people will tell you, if you're doing a ketogenic diet and you're like a 5'2" female and you're eating 200 or 220 grams of fat per day, then you shouldn't expect to lose body fat because you're eating so much dietary fat. So just because you're on keto doesn't mean you're going to lose fat. Now, the magic of keto isn't that it makes calories inert or you can eat as much food as you want. What keto does effectively is it kind of allows us to have less hunger. So if your hunger is low and you want to tap into body fat on a ketogenic diet, of course, we have to eat less dietary fat because fat is the energy source. And if we want to burn the energy source in our body that we have stored for a rainy day, we'll have to restrict the energy sources coming in exogenously. So I hope that helps. I mean, basically, long story short, if you're not losing body fat, you're probably eating quite a bit more food than you require to lose body fat. Hope that helps. Okay. What's up, James? Joseph, how's it going? Joseph, yeah, I'm sorry, man. We don't have any maca in stock at all right now. I apologize. I'm not sure when it's going to be back. All right. What are we? All right. 50 Shades of Trauma says, I've been doing the keto diet for 37 days and have only lost 4 pounds. I watch your videos constantly and I'm pretty sad about this. Everyone's telling me to give up. 50 Shades of Trauma. What? There is no the keto diet. You do realize that, right? There's not like one keto diet. There's people that tell you, yeah, eat minimal protein, as much fat as you can, and that's how you do it. If you're not getting sufficient protein, your hunger's not going to be low. If you're trying to starve yourself in the very beginning of a ketogenic diet, it could be really stressful. Also, if you're trying to eat 200, 300 grams of fat every day, we can't expect to lose body fat. So the first thing, if you're not losing, you say, I haven't lost weight, but you want to lose fat, you want to lose body fat. The first thing you got to do is track your macros. So I really hope you're tracking macros. If you're not losing and you think you're doing keto, track your macros, measure your food, see what you're really eating, see how many grams of protein, fat, and carbohydrate are going into your body, and adjust as necessary. The minimum amount, you have a minimum requirement for protein per day. I usually err on the safe side of about 0.8 grams per pound of our lean body mass. So for 0.8 grams per pound of your lean body mass, that's plenty of protein. You can go with less, you can handle more, but that is a nice safe protein amount that will hit the requirements, the minimum requirements for everybody, still be well within the ketogenic range as laid out in all the scientific literature per Volek and Finney and the ardent science of low carbohydrate living, the ardent science of low carbohydrate performance and whatnot. That's a nice safe protein level. So that's the first thing I would have you check. The second thing I'd look at is make sure you don't have a bunch of hidden carbs all over the place, right? Some people don't count things like they'll put mayonnaise on their food and they won't count the carbs and fat that are in that. So make sure you're tracking, check out what's going on. And yeah, that's the first thing I'd look at, right? You're not losing body fat. Hey, you're probably eating more than what you need to lose body fat. Okay. What's going on here? We got people in Maryland. We got people in Australia. Dante Keys, what's up, man? 0 Point. Kate Davis, Briar Rose, John Raj. Thanks for joining, everybody. Hope everything's going well with all you guys out there in internet land. All right, let's see. Let's see what 50 Shades is talking about. See, this is what she's saying. 50 Shades, she's worried about macronutrient percentages. 50 Shades of Trauma, I'm sorry, but for fat loss, macronutrient percentages are completely irrelevant on a ketogenic diet. This is going to be contrary to what you've heard from the dogmatic repetition parrots that you're going to see on YouTube and, ketogenic diet websites. They're just repeating the same information that comes from medical ketogenic diet, right? The ketogenic diet, originally the ketogenic diet, which doesn't exist. There's a million different ways to do the diet. Keto was first named, ketones were first discovered in the 1930s when they were using fasting to treat epilepsy. So for thousands of years, people have noticed that epileptic seizures can be stopped by fasting people. By restricting food and to a certain extent water, you can stop epileptic seizures that no drugs would work for. And there were a lot of children that were dealing with refractory epilepsy that was resistant to drugs, drug-resistant epilepsy. And the ketogenic diet kind of became this amazing treatment for that. There was no other drug that would work. And they found that fasting these kids could stop the seizures. But earlier, fasting is not a safe thing to do long term. Intermittent fasting, where you're still eating each day, just in a restricted window, that's fine long term. But like actually fasting, and for children who are growing, that is not a good way to go about it. So they needed to mimic fasting with a diet. They found that restricting all macros, protein and carbohydrates and fat, would get them into a state where it would produce these things called ketones. They called them ketones. Those would inhibit seizures. Then they had to figure out a way to keep these kids' weight stable and keep them growing and keep them from getting developmental issues. So they found that feeding kids an 80% diet, a diet of 80% fat, a 4-to-1 ketogenic diet, or even like 5-to-1 ketogenic diet, 90% fat, would keep the seizures away, keep their blood ketone levels high enough to keep their brain stable, and allow them to still grow. So that's why 80% fat became the dogma, because that's what the scientific literature says concerning medical ketogenic diets. So 50 Shades of Trauma. Change that name. Come on. Why do you carry the moniker 50 Shades of Trauma? We're supposed to heal from trauma, not fetishize it. All right, anyways. The 70% fat is irrelevant in your case. Get enough protein. Fat is your fuel source. If you want to create a deficit, the deficit will be created from dietary fat so that you burn body fat, and keep your carbs below about, I don't know, for you, probably below 30 grams net carb, 20 to 30 grams net carb. Forget the dogma about the percentages. That's useless to you. Get enough protein. Keep your carbs low. Fat's your energy source. Less fat on the plate means you burn more fat from your body. That's how simple it is. People get upset with me for putting it simple. And of course, get your electrolytes in. Super crucial. Getting sufficient sodium, magnesium, and potassium. Keeping your stress low and getting your other lifestyle factors in line. Keeping your inflammation low. You know, eliminating, if you got foods that irritate you, don't eat them. If you got trigger foods that make you gorge on them and you don't track, like if you open up a thing of peanut butter and you can't not eat half the jar, maybe avoid that peanut butter, right? So anyways, I hope that helps. 50 Shades. I hope that helps. Enjoy your day, 50 Shades. I'm done on that one. Oh, now 50 Shades is crying and yelling because I've talked about 50 Shades of Trauma, like the media. I talked about media, the brainwashing that happens on your television, and how it's all about traumatizing people. And 50 Shades got triggered and bounced. Later, 50 Shades, it looks like you actually missed my explanation of what you're doing. So great. Unsubscribe and don't come back. Thank you. This is what media does to people, right? Everybody's all up in arms about the fake trauma that's constantly being bombarded at us through the television. Turn off the freaking TV, people. This is nonsense. The world is allowing itself to get whipped up into a frenzy. All right, let's go. Boom, 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 boom. Let's move forward. Christopher Michaels points out that I do own a shirt. Yeah, you know, the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual for low carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine, actually allowed me to be able to afford a shirt now. So thanks to your guys' support. For those of you who enjoy the channel, if you guys want to help me buy another shirt, check out the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook. No, I'm joking, but I am half serious because you probably should check out the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook. For those of you who are looking for fat loss, like the individual I was just talking to, 50 Shades of Trauma, who allowed her 50 Shades of Trauma to completely shade and shadow her interaction with me and block whatever knowledge she could have received had she not been all sensitive and melted. Yeah. Anyways, she probably could have benefited greatly from building a foundation of preparing your own nutrient-dense, whole foods-based meals at home. And this is one of the things that a lot of people are missing when they start keto. People start a ketogenic diet and they just go out to eat. They get a burger without a bun, and they're relying on like keto junk food. That's not a long-term sustainable habit that's going to help us with our health. If we want to be healthy, if we want to be successful with keto, we have to learn to create anything. You can't even create a speck of dust. To make our own food. Isn't that funny? As a human beings, we think we're so amazing. We can create nothing. We can't make anything. We can make things, right? We can make, can't create. But we think we're the bee's D's. One second. All right, back to the subject at hand. So, if you're trying to change your life, if you're trying to eat healthy, if you're trying to treat yourself well, one of the most important things that we can do is simply learn how to make food for ourselves, how to feed ourselves. No one taught us that as kids. Let's be honest. Most Americans have no idea how to feed themselves, how to make nutrient-dense foods. The whole food distribution system it's based around profit, right? It's based around, and I'm talking about, Kraft, Monsanto, stuff like that. The big agriculture food producers, the products that they're putting out, the image that they're putting out through the media, through the television, through the little black box that we let for so long now dictate what reality is to us. Tell us what is real, what is true, what is worthwhile, what is righteous. We allow these lies to come through there about what's right to eat as well, right? Look at this nonsense on the Food Network. Look at all this crap. Look at the foods that are marketed to the kids. Look at the foods that we had marketed to us as children. Like, I grew up on Lucky Charms, Pop-Tarts, and I didn't eat the Lunchables things, but I remember they're really cool because of the commercials, because of the filth that I allowed myself to watch in little morning cartoons, right? Watching Pokemon in the morning in like 5th grade. And then the little Lunchables commercials comes on. It's like, oh, Lunchables, those are kind of cool. Sunny D, pass the Sunny D. What's in the fridge? In the green stuff? Get the orange stuff? Oh, I got Sunny D. Yeah. Let's go. I'm out of rollerblades. 90s kids rejoice because we actually do have a choice to treat ourselves well and to learn how to feed ourselves, right? You're not going to learn to feed yourself watching TV. You're not going to learn to feed yourself even watching YouTube. You're not going to learn how to feed yourself. Practice making nutrient-dense, whole foods-based meals. And if you're on a ketogenic diet, by far one of the most valuable resources that you will be able to find out there right now is my wife's cookbook, the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual, keyword, training manual for low carbohydrate, ketogenic, and pay all whole foods-based ingredients, all nutrient-dense, whole food stuff, unrefined. We don't even put any artificial sweeteners in this book. No, it's all nutrient-dense whole foods that you can find wherever you're at. We live in the mountains of Ecuador. If we can get it here, you can get it there. So yeah, check out the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook. We have to create, if we're changing our life, habits that we can last, that will last, and that we can maintain. So the book is designed to actually help you learn how to create nutrient-dense, whole foods-based meals. So check it out. It's available exclusively at primaledgehealth.com. And if 50 Shades of Trauma didn't run off crying, shoot, I might have given her a free copy. Someone today is going to get a free copy of this, though. And it's not going to be, unfortunately for her, 50 Shades of Trauma. Let's see. Who wants a free copy of the book? I'll find someone who's kind, but not trying to blow smoke up my butt. All right, Paradoxical Axiom. What's up, dude? Holly Tova, how's it going? James Foster, what's up? James says, can you talk about electrolyte requirements on keto? Are there any ratios or recommended amounts of magnesium, potassium, and sodium? This is something I asked on your last live stream but didn't get a response. Cool. I don't care if you asked it on my last live stream and didn't get a response. Also, don't complain. If I don't read your comment, if I don't read your question, doesn't mean don't like you. It just means I don't have time or I'm not interested. All right. Sodium. Most people can do with about 5,000 to 7,000 milligrams of sodium per day. Magnesium, I usually recommend supplementing with because it's really difficult to get in enough magnesium through the diet because our food system is so corrupted and so disgusting that we have allowed, unfortunately, corporations like Monsanto to market things like glyphosate extensively and spray this antibiotic that binds up minerals in the soil so that bacteria cannot spread, so that the nutrients cannot be unlocked and given to the plant and then given to us. This has created a system that has kind of robbed our soil of vital nutrients and minerals. It's created a lot of foods that don't have a lot of nutrients. So magnesium, I usually recommend supplementing. I usually go with about 800 milligrams, depending on the person, sometimes more. But 400 milligrams 2 times a day of magnesium glycinate, or magnesium malate can be okay too, but I like glycinate. It can be harder to find in some places. But 400 milligrams 2 times daily magnesium glycinate should be enough. Also, foods like raw cacao can also give you significant amounts of magnesium. And then potassium, 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams of potassium required per day. You can get that from foods like avocados, spinach, meats, fish, shellfish even. Salmon's got a good amount of potassium in it as well. Then I mentioned pumpkin seeds. Those are a good one too. Leafy green vegetables as well. But also some people use potassium citrate or no salt, which is potassium chloride, to get in their up to about 4,000. Some people are fine with like 2,000 milligrams of potassium per day. So, James, thanks for the question. I hope that helps, my friend. Paradoxical axiom. What's up, man? Whoa. Like everyone wants a copy of the book. All right. Hobby says, hi. Stephanie, the keto person, states that we must cut out dairy because the casein growth hormone is bad, as well as cut out nuts. All right. Anytime that somebody tells you everybody has to do this, you should question why the heck somebody would make such an extreme statement. Okay. No, everybody does not need to cut out dairy because some people have a sensitivity to casein. If you're lactose intolerant, if you're super sensitive to casein, then you should probably avoid dairy. But if you got no issues with it, you're fine. You're golden. Nuts. Why should you cut out nuts? Nuts do not have casein in them. Nuts do have a little bit high polyunsaturated fatty acid levels, but some nuts don't. Macadamia nuts are fantastic. Walnuts, also a great source of nutrition. Nuts are really good. Zach A says the cookbook is legit. Yes, it is. Or we wouldn't put our names on it. 0 Point says, I thought we couldn't create anything. Yeah, you caught me. I slipped there. We can't. We can't create anything. Create something. You can't create something. To create something out of nothing, right? We can't do that. They're trying to, though, at CERN with Shiva in front of it. Oppenheimer mentioning Shiva. Very interesting stuff. How science, in quotations, is so tied in intimately with the world of the occult. How funny is that? Why is Shiva outside of CERN? Okay. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, nuts. I don't know. I like nuts. I eat nuts. I like dairy. I eat dairy. Oh no. He's so inflamed. Oh, he's a subhuman and he's not in ketosis. Ugh. I mean, just stay away from the extremes. Do what works for you. Don't worry about what other people say. Look, if people want to do that, that's fine. If you want to listen to it, it's fine. But I'll say this. Any extreme statement like that, like this is bad in all cases, usually that's not the case, right? And just question what people say. If somebody claims that casein is bad for everybody, maybe go and do some research, right? Yes, a small part of the population, actually a rather large part of the population, can have sensitivity to dairy, but not everybody. And there's 2 types of dairy. We got A1 and A2. Type A2 dairy is a different type of casein that most people are not sensitive to. So it's not so simple. Don't go for dogma. It's about what really works. All right. Marco says, my wife ran out of ideas. Send me a copy. I want the ebook. All right. Francine. What's up, Francine? Lots to lose. I mean, lots. Francine, if you got lots to lose, tune into the beginning of this broadcast. A ketogenic diet can be one of the most powerful tools for long-term fat loss because it induces satiety and it lowers your hunger and it takes away most of the trigger foods. Learning how to create nutrient-dense, whole foods-based meals is really important. Learning how to prepare your own food, cutting out the junk food, all the processed crap is very important. Focus on that. Get your macros in line. Get sufficient protein. About 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass is a nice, on the higher end of the safe ketogenic spectrum, right? Perfectly safe within the ketogenic realm. Enough for most individuals, including people resistance training and athletes. And that's enough protein to actually spark satiety. So get the protein in. Most important macro for you to eat if you're looking to lose body fat is protein. Don't be afraid of it. Question the dogma. Question what I say. Do your own research. Don't be afraid of protein. It's one of the first mistakes a lot of people make when they're trying to lose fat. They think I just got to eat a bunch of fat. No, you do want to eat some fat, right? But you also want to eat some fat from the body. So fat is your energy source on keto. That fat can come from the plate or it can come from the belly. Less fat on the plate, fat from the belly, and vice versa. Keep your carbs low, 20 to 30 grams net carbs, and that should drop your hunger level significantly. But also, we have to change our life. We have to change our environment. We have to change the way we relate to our body, the way we move our body, what we put in our body, what we allow to happen around our body. So it's about lifestyle changes that are lasting, enjoyable. And if you want to lose that weight, if you want to lose that body fat, Francine, you can do it. It's up to you. It's in your hands. It's your body, right? Yes, it could be a battle to take control of the mind, the automatic reactions, stuff like that, to stop stress eating. It can be a battle, but it's well worth it, right? It feels so much better to actually treat ourselves right, to actually treat our body well, than to just be constantly giving the middle finger to our physiology and saying, oh, yeah, I'll do it later. All right. Key Lime Kisses says, I'm going to win the Powerball tonight, so go ahead and give it to someone else. I don't want to be greedy. Key Lime Kisses. Your comment made me chuckle inside. All right, Key Lime Kisses, put your email address in the comments here, and then you can delete it if you want, if you don't want weirdos to copy your email address and spam you or something. Put your email address in here, Key Lime Kisses. I'm going to send you a free copy of the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual for low carbohydrate, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. It's available exclusively on our website, primaledgehealth.com. You're not going to find it on Amazon. We're not feeding that beast. We're not going to find it anywhere else but primaledgehealth.com. Give me your email, and I'm going to send you a free copy of the ebook. And I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in. For everybody else who wanted the free copy today, I'm sorry, not doing any more today. Just maybe one per hangout is enough, but it's very reasonably priced. It's only $20, and you can find it exclusively at primaledgehealth.com. I get emails not every day, but almost every day of people, and it still amazes me. And the book has been out for a little while now, 9 months or something. But I still get emails all the time of people just saying how valuable they find it and how it changed the way they relate to their diet and their kitchen. Because it's actually a training manual to teach you how to construct meals, how to interchange ingredients, how to use spices to bring out certain flavors. There's even a whole section on how to use organ meats. So Key Lime Kisses, give me your email address. Where is it? All right, where you at, Key Lime Kisses? Where's your email address? All right. Lay to Delow says, just started a keto diet 2 days ago. I'm confused. In one of your videos, you mentioned, all right, rewind and listen to what I say about macronutrient ratios being irrelevant about 30 minutes ago in this broadcast. That'll be really helpful for you. All right. Key Lime Kisses. I'm sending you an email with a copy of the ebook, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for the positivity and for almost making me laugh out loud. Your copy is going to be on the way after this broadcast is completed. All right, let's see. What else is going on here? Wait, where's all the questions? I got to find the questions or the comments. I can't find it. Where'd it go? If I'm like live, I feel like any dead air time is unacceptable. All right. Where's my live chat? Pop out chat. There we go. Come back. It's not working. All right. I can see that all right. Somebody asked, here it is. Somebody asked, do you use stevia? I don't really use stevia very much. No. Do I think it's okay? Sure. Yeah. Somebody says, don't separate fat and protein. Eat fat as a complete food with protein. Exactly. All these protein sources are going to have fats. All the protein sources will have fats as well. So for people doing keto for fat loss, it's not always necessary to eat loads of fat outside of your protein source. But it's all about context, right? So somebody like me who's weight stable will need more dietary fat. Somebody who's trying to lose body fat will need less. All right. Hobby says, what do you think of eating keto cake made with almond flour and sweetened with xylitol? Have a cake slice twice a week. Is that okay? Yeah, totally fine. Look, for some people, some of these baked good things can be like a game changer. Especially sometimes like women who have family, they want to do keto. They don't want to make their kids like the cake with the wheat and stuff because they don't want to eat it. And I'm not saying you should feed your kids keto, but sometimes making like some low carb, like almond flour stuff, coconut flour stuff, can be really cool for the kids. And then mama and daddy can enjoy it as well and still stay within their ketogenic diet. So I think these things have their place. But for some people, they can be a stumbling block, right? So it's like if every meal is like, yeah, I'm gonna have keto cake because it fits my macros. You're going to be eating foods that don't have a lot of nutrient density, but they have a lot of macronutrient density, right? So they have like calorie density without micronutrient density, and they're hyper palatable and can make you want to eat a lot. And also, you mentioned xylitol. Xylitol can be pretty irritable to people's guts. I would prefer to use like erythritol or Lakanto, which is an erythritol with monk fruit extract. And it's 0 glycemic index, and it tastes pretty good. That's the one we prefer to use. And actually, in the forthcoming book, what's the book called, Jessica? Bring me the backpack. Bring me the backpack. You remember that? Someone asked about Mayweather, and that was like the only thing I've seen him really do. I never paid attention to the guy. Bring me the backpack. Yeah, I saw that. That was funny. His money teeth protector, his Irish flag teeth protector. The Ultimate Guide to Low Carb Baking is the forthcoming book that Jessica's been working on for this past year. And that should be out, we hope, by the end of the year. But we call it the Ultimate Guide to Low Carb Baking. And it's all nutrient dense, well, mostly nutrient dense recipes. And when used in context, this type of stuff can be a good tool, but also just keep it in context, right? You don't eat keto cake every single meal. It's not like a healthy, sustainable thing. And, eating loads of almond flour all the time, obviously not the greatest, healthiest food, right? We want to keep those polyunsaturated fats in balance. So lots of inflammatory polyunsaturated fatty acids can cause further insulin resistance, and not just the peripheral insulin resistance that comes along with ketosis, can cause more inflammation and just not the greatest food in the world. Not saying almonds are bad. In moderation, everything is fine. Well, I hope that helps. But yeah, that book will be out further on down the road. Cat C, hey Tristan, thanks for the live hangout. Well, thank you. Claire says, yeah, question and research. Exactly. What I say, question it, research it, make up your own opinion. There's no, stop looking for a guru to tell you what's real. Stop looking for the television or YouTube to tell you what your reality is, right? See, feel through that vessel that you've been given as a filter for the black box in front of you. Filter your reality. All right, Volta Speeder says, hey, Tristan, is 100 grams of animal protein enough for a 6'4" guy who wants to build some muscle on keto? You're 6'4"? I don't know, probably not. But I don't know. I mean, it depends what you weigh, what you're doing, who you are. I don't know. Probably not enough protein, though, to build muscle as a 6'4" guy on keto. Now, me on a ketogenic diet, I can build muscle. I mean, you can build muscle on keto. I can build muscle on about 120 grams of protein on keto. I can gain weight, muscle weight, not fat. All right. Paradoxical Axiom says, cholesterol isn't necessarily bad. Tristan, could you talk about cholesterol on keto? Absolutely. Cholesterol is not bad. Cholesterol, you know what you need cholesterol for? You need it to create sex steroid hormones. So if you didn't have cholesterol, you couldn't make progesterone. You couldn't make testosterone. No cholesterol, no lean muscle mass. If you didn't have cholesterol, it's also powerful. It's a powerful antioxidant in the body. Cholesterol is very, very important. We need cholesterol to create we need cholesterol to create vitamin D out of sulfated cholesterol when the sunlight hits our skin. Cholesterol is required for so many physiological processes. It's ridiculous. Actually, increasing dietary cholesterol levels has been associated with increasing testosterone levels. Yet, of course, the common thing, and this is like, the mainstream government promoted diet is low cholesterol, low animal products. The UN wants to put rations on meat, right? Like you can look at Agenda 21. There's something you can look at. Agenda 21. Complete control of the entire food supply, all nutrients, all medicine, all soil. Fascinating stuff. Will be stopped. My kids will not live in that reality. But yeah, isn't it funny? Like cholesterol completely demonized, but we need it for testosterone. People who have low cholesterol have higher mortality rates from all causes. What? Let me say it again. People with low cholesterol die more from all causes. People who get heart attacks, those with high cholesterol have higher survival rates. Whoo. Yet we think we're so smart because we watch the TV and Bill Nye the Science Guy tells us that cholesterol is bad. In front of the green screen, the magic of the movies. Hypnotic. Cholesterol is not bad. Cholesterol serves a function in the body. In fact, cholesterol is a very, very important part of the human body. So that's what I'll say about cholesterol. I could go on and on and on about it, but actually my mind has not been on cholesterol lately, so my tongue is not so sharp at that angle at the moment. Do you believe that Bulletproof Coffee provides energy during intermittent fasting without breaking your fast? That's a great question. Any food that you eat during a fast makes you not fasted. So if you eat, Bulletproof Coffee is a marketing term for coffee that people put fat in. People have been putting cream in coffee for so long. Somebody came around and blended up coffee with butter and said, this is amazing, and said it enough, and enough people believed him, and now people think it's something special. Is that right? No. Thought I felt my son crawling around below. Bulletproof Coffee is nothing special, and it is breaking your fast. So if you want to fast, don't eat. Don't drink Bulletproof Coffee. If you're going to fast, black coffee wouldn't really be breaking a fast. Unsweetened tea, for the most part, wouldn't really be breaking a fast. But if you're fasting, don't eat calories. Any calories you take in is breaking a fast. And Bulletproof Coffee does not make you lose body fat. It makes you burn dietary fat, of course, because you're fasting, and then you're just drinking fat. So you're going to burn that fat before you burn body fat. Do you eat a lot when you do extreme trainings 2 times a day? Yeah, when I train a lot or if I move a lot, I'll get hungry and I'll eat more. All right, Mutant Stoner, what's up, man? Hey, Tristan, as I'm getting closer to my goal weight, I'm looking for ways to prevent or reduce loose skin. I work out, and I know that helps. When I look in the mirror, I see lots of it, so I'm worried. Learn to love it, man. Mutant Stoner, learn to love that loose skin. But it might go away. It's not a sure thing that it's going to stay with you. Some people get it, some people don't. As far as like a way to prevent it, the magic pill, can I do this? Can I do that? It doesn't really seem like there's a magic thing for that. Although when you look at the study that was done on the guy who fasted for 382 days, he didn't have any loose skin. His body was consuming his non-essential parts. course, it's not a sustainable thing, but you might want to look into that study. I think it was called not the Faster study. Look up 382-day fast study and read it. It's fascinating. Mr. The Cass says, my LDL was 104 before I lowered my carbs. Okay. I don't know. Cool. So many comments. All right. Briar says, thank you for saying it's nonsense to eat during a fast. You shouldn't had to say it. It's common sense. Yeah, I try to say it nicely too. It's like I do answer the same questions over and over and over again. And sometimes I got more patience than when I have less patience. I mean, right now I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not always in the same mood. I'm not always at the same level. I'm always the same vibration. I'm more in like a contemplative questioning state right now. Hey, buddy, come up here. Come here. Oh, missed you, dude. Yeah. Ryder's walking around everywhere now. He started walking 2 weeks ago. He was like 10 months. He just started walking around. He's fully walking now. It's just amazing. You know what's crazy? It's like both of these kids. I'm not gonna get all. I start crying if I like get myself. I'm gonna go there, but I was the first person to hold both of them. I was the first person to ever hear the sounds that came out of their lungs. The first person to feel them outside of the womb. I can't believe how blessed I am. Sometimes it's crazy. Here he comes. He's a year now, and he's just walking around. And Ariana's 5. And they're just incredible. They're amazing. Right? They're not no programs, no nonsense, just pure experience, consciousness. Whatever that even means. All right. Volta Speeder says, Tristan, thank you, bro. I thought so. Someone almost brainwashed me into thinking 70 grams of protein was enough for a 6'4" guy, and I couldn't build a single gram of muscle in 5 months on keto. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Hey, Ari, what's up, little lady? All right. Look at that. Boo. What's up? Ari's 5. Ryder's now almost 1. All right, you're getting down. You guys go cruise. You want to stay? Ryder's gonna kick it. So yeah, I'm sorry, man. That's unfortunate. You know, it's the thing about the internet and the thing about media in general. And the thing about human nature is people latch on to, if I come up here and I say something with conviction, nonsense. I mean, look at the news. Like they have everybody fighting over nothing, like over just words that people say on the television. And they've got an entire nation, not an entire nation, but they've almost created enough of an upwelling of infighting among these people over just nonsense. Like people ready to kill their neighbors because somebody labeled them a Nazi. Right. And now it's like, okay, like I talked to someone the other day and I was probing, right? I just want to see where people are at with some of these things. Cause I mean, I went to University of California, Santa Cruz. I grew up in California. Like I don't like liberal or conservative or any of these fake labels. They're all nonsense, right? They're used to control. They're used to divide up people into little tribes and control them. But it amazes me now how, like I talked to someone the other day and he was talking about, the racism thing, right? Because the media likes to hype up racism whenever they want people to be distracted from other issues. They did it in the 60s, they completely dismantled the civil rights movement, funneled it off into different directions. And they're still doing the same thing today. And it's just crazy. Like I was talking to someone the other day and he was basically telling me how like we should put the Nazis, like people can't even define these terms anymore though, right? Because they don't know what history is. They never studied this. They never studied human nature, anthropology, history in general, history of the world. They've just been told lies about it. But he's basically told me, yeah, like, why shouldn't we just round up all these racists and kill them and exterminate them? Like, this is what media will do to your mind. And this is not like a zonked out zombie that's just watching TV his whole life. This is supposedly like a, pretty hip guy, grew up in the 60s or whatever, older, watches TV, but that's where they got him now. put the people in camps and kill them because they think differently than me. That's what television will do to people. It's insane. Look at this kid. Like every single one of us was this. Right? Was I like you when I was littler? Maybe not as awesome, but I was similar. All right. Da, 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 da. Francine says, purchase a cookbook, missed the download. Oh, cool. Hey, Francine, email me at tristan@primaledgehealth.com if you had some sort of a issue with getting your cookbook download. Just shoot me an email and I'll send you a new download link. A lot of the times it goes, not a lot, but sometimes, I mean, every other day I'll get a few emails. They'll go to people's spam folders sometimes, and yeah, shoot me an email. All right, let's see. Recovery food for keto. What do you mean recovery? Recovery from what? And Briar Rose says, if your son is walking, hang up your keys high so he doesn't hop in your truck and drive off. No one's about to hop in my truck and drive off because my truck is not driving right now because there's not a motor in it. I got no engine in my truck voluntarily because I built a new one and I'm going to put it in if I ever finally get there. Hopefully next week. All right. Somebody says, I think good food, nature, less corrupted media, less stupid people. Oh, is it somebody? Jennifer says, why did you decide to move to South America? That's an impossible question for me to answer honestly and completely. And my answer will change day to day and moment to moment. But because I love it here, because I like it here. Yeah, I mean, maybe leading up to it, there were certain things that I wanted to get away from. But at the same time, there was something I was going towards. So it wasn't just, I got to leave this situation. It was like a kind of a vibe when we left in 2010 of, this is not going so well here. I don't really want to be here. This is not a place where I want to live and have children. I'm talking about California, Santa Cruz, California. Just really expensive. Lifestyle wasn't really matching up with what we wanted. We wanted to live somewhere with good, clean air, good, clean water, less population density, less. It's different here. It's what we wanted. We like it. The people are sweet. The style of life is great here for us. We can't tell you how many people have moved here and left, come here to honeymoon and think, I got to move to Ecuador. It's going to be so great. It's going to be perfect. I'm going to move to this little town in Ecuador. And they hightail it out of here in about 6 months, miserable, right? I mean, it's not good for everybody. But for us, we wouldn't have had kids if we were still living in California. It just wouldn't have really been an option. Hey, Ari, can you come get Ryder? You're so awesome, dude. So, yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of personal decisions, and we wanted something different. We wanted something different. We wanted an adventure. And it's kind of like going back in time to a certain extent, right? Like when we first came, I mean, now people want cell phones and stuff, and the kids walk around with their face in Facebook and all. Ecuador has been Facebooked, so the culture is changing. The social engineering from Western corporate culture. It's Western. It's not even Western. It's a global corporate culture, right? It's about global subjugation. But the television, pornography, all that shit, it still comes. It's still here, but it's a little different. It's the style of life's different. There's no mall. Shoot, there's no supermarket here. All the stores are closed by 8 o'clock. Most of the stores are closed by 8, 9 o'clock on the weekdays. All right. Let's see. What else? Giota Short says life is beautiful and precious. Yeah, life is beautiful and life is precious, right? Ontario, California, Coffee Des. All right, I lived in Riverside, California for a while. My dad used to work for Kellogg Brown and Root in Ontario. Cool. Dinner's ready. I'm about to bounce. My dad actually worked in Ontario for a while at a paper mill owned by Halliburton. Kellogg Brown and Root was paying the bills when I was a boy. All right. Mr. The Cass says, I always ate a high-fat diet. When I lowered my carbs going, my LDL went up. I don't know if it's smaller, fluffy particles. Could this be because too low of fiber? Look, there's a lot of things that can affect cholesterol levels. Some people see a rise in cholesterol on a ketogenic diet, but I would challenge you to look at all of the research on longevity and cholesterol, look at the functions of cholesterol in the body, and question the dogma of cholesterol equals bad, the dumbed down television cartoon narrative that we get fed of cholesterol is bad, the Bill Nye the Science Guy version. Go beyond that. Look deeper into cholesterol. Definitely look into Peter Attia's article, The Straight Dope on Cholesterol. Look up straight dope cholesterol. All right. Angelina says they'll be putting us all in freaking camps eventually. Damn scared. No, look, then you don't put people in camps. You get people to build the camp, to beg to live in the camp, right? The camp is here. The camp is Facebook. The camp is your Twitter feed. The camp is sitting in front of the television by choice, being programmed with fear pornography. Fear your neighbor. Your neighbor is a Nazi or a liberal subhuman. People who think different than you must die, right? The prison isn't here. You don't have to put people in FEMA camps if you can get people to police their neighbors' thoughts and their own thoughts, right? This is what it's about, culture creation through people. But Tristan, you said earlier, we can create nothing. Well, these are words, right? You can't create any matter. But what creates culture? That's an interesting thing. What creates culture? No, it's not scary, Angelina. That's not scary. What is scary? We all, we're in these bodies. These vessels. These vessels don't last forever. And we're given life. And we have choices. All right? No one putting people in camps right now, fortunately. But shoot, with the way that the narrative's going. All right. Free speech is going away, says Mutant Stoner. Yeah, YouTube, Google. The Google Gulag. All right. How important would you say weighing and tracking macros is? Great question. If you're doing a ketogenic diet and you're trying to lose body fat, weighing and measuring your food is really important, especially in the beginning. Understanding how many grams protein, fat, and carbohydrates you're eating is of the utmost importance, especially on a ketogenic diet for fat loss. Now, of course, across the board, this isn't always true because some people in the beginning of keto can start keto and just lose weight without even trying. And they're like, yeah, I don't have to count calories. I can just eat whatever I want as long as it's keto and I lose weight. And that might work until it doesn't work anymore. And when it doesn't work anymore, they got to count their macros. They got to dial it in. They got to figure it out and do it right. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Melinda says, you have to remember that some of us are new to this and trying to become educated. When there's so many opposing views on social media, it can be really confusing and difficult. Yeah, so get off of social media. Get out of there. Get out of the freaking Facebook gulag. Get out of the Facebook concentration camp. We don't need that crap. Do some research for yourself. Test things for yourself. Look at the actual scientific literature. Look at, if you're looking for stuff on gluconeogenesis, stuff like that, if you're afraid of protein because people have told you every extra bite of protein turns to chocolate cake, which is nonsense, look at the research on diabetics and overfeeding protein. See what happens. All right. But yeah, totally. I understand that most of you are new to this. That's why I'm here, constantly giving the same answers to the same questions. Ooh, that sounded really bitter about that. I don't feel bitter about it. I'm glad I can help you guys. But yeah. Jennifer says, I'm fascinated by your lifestyle. Would you be willing to do a bio as far as leaving the USA? No, because it would be a lie. I can't write a biography of myself because it would be a lie. Did you get what I'm saying? Oh, what are you all about? Well, I am a scientist and a father, and I am this and that. I am a college graduate with a history degree. I am a CPA. Like what, like whatever it is, or like I am a vegan. These are just like, there's no bio. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I can tell you my thoughts in the moment. I can reflect in this moment, but it can change all the time. So anyways, let's see. Key Lime Kisses says, we would love to move, but unless you have a boatload of cash, most places I want to move don't want us. Unless you have a boatload of cash. We had no money when we came here. We didn't have anything. We saved up some. We definitely didn't have a boatload of cash. Brady Hold says, what up from San Francisco? What's up, Brady? My sister is in San Francisco. Angelita says, you're right, man. Voluntary slaves, which we are. No, I'm not a voluntary slave. I know who my boss is. I know who I serve. And who I serve knows me better than I know myself. You know, we could be slaves. We can't be enslaved. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. I don't know if I agree with that, though. None but ourselves. I don't know. All right. Key Lime Kisses says Ecuador is cheap, cheap, cheap for housing. I'm an Aussie, and I'm thinking of going to South America. You know, I mean, it depends on where you live, right? If you just want to go somewhere because it's cheap to live there, that's not the right reason. I don't know. Actually, where we live, it's rather expensive for housing. Unfortunately. Compared to other areas of Ecuador. Compared to California, much cheaper. But you don't have malls. There's not a gas station in this town. There's no 7-Eleven. There's no supermarket. You got to drive 40 minutes to get to a civilized city. All right, let's see. After hearing so many people talk about eating your macros, I thought I needed to eat all the fat. Just started keto 6 weeks ago. Thanks for your videos that taught me otherwise. Yeah, look, I mean, people just repeat things, you know? That's an unfortunate part of the whole, like, ketogenic diet push right now through, like, YouTube media. People are just repeating what other people say, and they're not asking questions. They're not doing any research for themselves. Some people who've got a very level head on their shoulders, who I would recommend as like great resources, check out stuff from like Tyler Cartwright and Luis Villaseñor of Keto Gains. Those guys do a dang good job. Claire says, what price would you pay knowing your kids can get free dental and healthcare? I don't want that. There's nothing free, Claire. You understand that, right? Free care dished out to you through pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies, mandated and forced on you by a government that's run by these pharmaceutical companies like Monsanto, Bayer, who have now merged, who have no incentive to make people healthy. It's not free. Free healthcare. I don't want free healthcare. You know what my free healthcare is? Taking care of my body, taking care of my life, taking care of my inner self. That's free healthcare. Free this, free that. That's how you lure the animals into domestication. All right, Allison Lampley, I'm glad you caught on. I'm glad you realized that the 80% fat, you got to eat more fat, brah. Eat more fat, brah. I'm glad you understand that that's not the way to do it. This is super funny. You know what's funny? Now people, I'm seeing, so the suggested videos on YouTube, like some of these new keto guru guys are doing live ones too now. That's cool. That's funny. All right, anyways. Holler's Music says taxpayers pay for free healthcare. Exactly. I don't want to pay for healthcare for some jack off who's sitting watching television all day, doesn't want to work, doesn't want to contribute to society, does nothing but complain on the internet about society and the man, and then treats himself like crap, eats Doritos all day, and is completely inflamed and unhealthy by the choices that person makes. I'm not paying for that person's healthcare. No siree. My healthcare, my free healthcare, is my lifestyle. I get out in the sun. I move my body. I try to have meaningful interactions and relationships. I do my best to be honest with myself and with other people. And I do my best to stand naked before my creator. That's my medicine. That's my medicine. Yeah. Claire says, I want to go everywhere. Yeah. No, that's the thing. Now, a lot of the very beautiful places in the world are pretty expensive. You know, they get bought out. Somebody says Kazakhstan is cool. You know, and somebody else mentioned New Zealand earlier. New Zealand seems like an incredible place. I'm not sure what it's like to actually, you know, how hard it is to get a residency visa there. Or if it's very expensive to get a residency visa there. But yeah. Keyline Kisses says, of course, after tonight, it's not going to matter. I'll just buy my own island. You're going to buy your own island. Okay. Right on. Autonomous Prime says, dethrone the violent occupier of the psyche. Interesting. Mutant Stoner says, our natural predators created culture. People saw tigers and lions and said, nope. Hey, so build a wall with me. See, like now you're getting into the realm of mythology, right? So then you got to start looking at ancient texts. I mean, you can look at the Vedas, pretty interesting stuff. Things like the Book of Enoch, where it talks about the transmission of certain knowledge to human beings through sources that may have been non-physical or may have come from somewhere else. There's all these different theories that people come up with. Fascinating stuff too, right? I'm more concerned with questions than answers. Let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. The Hippocrates statement. Now that can be valid, but also lifestyle, right? It's like food is not going to solve the problems. Food will not solve all of the issues, all these autoimmune conditions people have. Stress reduction would be something to attack at the same time as food, right? Like chronic stressors from internal and environmental stressors. I mean, even it's been shown that, blue light exposure at the wrong time will disrupt the circadian rhythm extensively and destroy DHA in the retina, radio frequency waves, radar, Wi-Fi, 5G, which is about to be pushed on us with no safety testing at all. There's a lot of other things going on other than just the food supply. So it's like we have to take a holistic approach to this. It's not just about what we eat, right? It's about what you eat through your ears, what do you eat through your eyes, what comes out of your mouth, what do you speak? Very important. Day 14 on keto, lost 11.2 pounds, but just peed on keto strip, not in ketosis. Why not? That's a great question, and I'm going to finish on that. Maybe. Okay, check it out. Who was this question from? Peace, mercy, and grace. Hey, we could all use some of those, right? Beautiful. All right, day 14 on keto, lost 11 pounds. That's fantastic. What is your goal with keto? Is your goal to pee on a 10-cent pee strip and have it tell you a color, and then your progress is gauged by that goal? Because if that's what you're doing, please check it. Please check yourself. If you're doing keto and your goal is fat loss, we should be measuring fat loss. 11.2 pounds down in 14 days. Congratulations. You lost 11 pounds. You lost more than the weight of a newborn baby in 2 weeks. That's fantastic. You're doing it right. You're doing something right. It's fantastic. That is what you need to measure. So take waist measurements, because sometimes as you're improving your lifestyle, you hear that? We got a party going on here. As you're improving your lifestyle, as inflammation is dropping, as your hormonal profile is getting optimized, you can gain lean muscle mass and lose body fat, and the scale might not move. So waist measurements and, of course, the scale are going to be way more relevant than a pee strip. And let me let you in on a little secret that the nonsense keto repeater parrot gurus are not going to tell you. Let me tell you something. Those pee strips are useless. I'm sorry. You've been duped. Save your money. It's good news, actually, because you could save your money. You could stop stressing out over the stupid pee strips, right? Hey, it's real profitable to some people, wasting your money on those pee strips, going to coaching from the gurus. They just tell you eat more fat, eat less protein. Make some people a lot of money when you're in that confused state. But I'm not here to confuse you. I'm here to tell you my filtered version, of course, of what I've found to be what I believe to be the truth. And if you look at any of the scientific research, any of the scientific data, you will understand that the P strips are useless. In the beginning of a ketogenic diet, you're kind of flooded with those ketones, but that's not even necessarily a good thing. Everybody's focused, oh, you got to get your ketones super high. Well, if you're on a carbohydrate-based diet and a glucose-based diet, should you be trying to have as high blood glucose as you can? No. You want a nice trickle of that energy when you need it. So in the beginning of keto, people's ketones will shoot up astronomically, and they pee a bunch of them out. You pee it out because your body doesn't know what to do with it. You don't have the mitochondria to use them. So for the first couple days, you might be pissing purple on those pee sticks. And then the gurus will tell you, yeah, do my program, buy my thing, buy my coaching. Buy my cookie cutter meal plan. 200, 400 grams of fat. Insane. Calories don't matter. What? Energy balance doesn't matter? Are you kidding me? So the P strips, in the beginning, you're just pissing out ketones because you're not using them. You don't have the mitochondria to actually process those ketones and use them for energy. Your body pees them out. So you register on the P strips a lot. After you get adapted, you're not wasting ketones. You're using them. Your muscles are taking them in. Your brain is using them for energy. You're using these things. You're not losing them. So if you're not peeing purple on the P strips, it probably means you're actually using the ketones, not dumping them out of your body. So you're doing well. Stop worrying about ketones. Don't chase ketones. Clutch on to life. Quit clutching on to these nonsense, the quantification of gobbledygook. We're quantifying what with these P strips? You're just sacrificing a little bit of your blood every day into the little keto meter god to tell you if you are, I'm only 0.4. Or some people, I'm 0.8. That's barely ketosis, according to the gurus. 0.5 and up is ketosis on the blood glucometer. But if you're going for fat loss, let's measure that. If you're doing the diet because you want to be more clear-headed, you want to take control of your health, your relationship with food, that's what you measure, right? If your hunger levels have dropped, you have steady energy through the day, meaning you have stable blood glucose throughout the day, you don't get those crashes in the middle of the day, then you're doing really good. You're doing well. You don't need to quantify with the P strips or with the blood ketone strips. If you're not doing a medical ketogenic diet, why? Why are you going to spend $5 every single day to measure your blood ketones? Why are you going to waste little 10-cent P strips and give the pharmaceutical companies millions of dollars for these stupid things you don't need? Let's question it. Save your money, save your time, save your sanity, and focus on the metrics that matter. How do you feel? Are you losing body fat if that's your goal? So there you go. I hope that helps. Jennifer says, I fat gorged too, ignorantly. Listening to one that swears 80, 25, 5. Yeah. So if you, all right, so say you're doing 80% fat. So if you want to, say you get weight stable and you're doing 80% fat and you have to adjust your macros. So every time you're trying to increase your caloric intake, you have to increase your protein, your fat, and your carbs to maintain that narrow weight ratio. That's silly. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make a sense. Yeah, so it's like, say you lost 20 pounds and your weight's stable now. Great. I'm going to increase my caloric intake by, I don't know, just throw it out there. Say you're an athlete, you're training really hard. I'm going to increase my caloric intake by 1,000 calories. So you got to maintain 80, 25, 5 still. If you eat 5,000 calories on a ketogenic diet and it's 5% carbohydrates, that's going to be well outside of the ketogenic range. Ooh, keto guru dogma crumbles. 80% fat just crumbled right there. All right. Let's see. Breyer says, I do feel better with high protein. What is high protein? You got to define these things, right? This is what's ridiculous. What is high protein? What is moderate protein? If define the terms that you're using. We can't just say high, moderate, right? It's just like you see in the media right now, whipping everyone up. Everyone's either a Nazi or a snowflake. You're either a Nazi or a pussy. It's ridiculous. All right. Shane says, hey, Tristan, thanks for cutting through the BS and keeping it real. Real, honest, educated advice is hard to find sometimes. Just about to complete my first 24-hour fast on keto and feel amazing. Shane, my friend, thank you. I don't know. I try to. It's about keeping my conscience steady, right? I got to tell the truth or I'll feel like a jerk. Okay. I'm glad you're doing well, man. Thanks a lot for the shout out. Claire Feline says, yeah, stress leaves the body weak and open to dis-ease. Absolutely. It's like food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. But if you're plopping down in front of the TV all day being told lies about your reality, about who you are, about what you're capable of, about the reality that you live in, that we share. If you're sitting there taking it to the skull every day, getting put in that fight or flight response every time, oh, World War III, right? It's going to be the new round, World War III. Every time there's a new presidential cycle, a new propaganda cycle, World War III gets hung over their head. And then then the civil unrest here, there. You just get hyped up by words on the television, by stress, right? It's an illusion. And connect with your neighbors. Talk to people. Talk to real people. Talk to your family. Talk to your spouse. Stress leaves the body weak and open to disease, Claire says. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wrote something there. That's what I wrote down. Anything that's detrimental to your health is also detrimental to your character. Ooh. Does that work the other way? Anything that which is beneficial to your character, that which rectifies your spirit and your soul, does that bring health? I would say yes. So speaking the truth, being honest with ourselves, being honest with others, being open, speaking to people, being open to different ideas, not just latching on to emotional states and being whipped up into a frenzy all the time by lies, manipulation, having our energy harvested. What's detrimental to character is detrimental to health. And what's detrimental to health is detrimental to character. Kind of interesting stuff. All right. Peace, mercy, and grace says objective number 1, cure depression. Number 2, weight loss. Mood, much, much better. There you go. Peace, mercy, and grace. What do you seek? You seek peace, mercy, and grace, don't you? Where does that come from? Doesn't come from me. Doesn't come from any other human being or guru. What is our lifeline? All right. Objective 1, cure depression. Fantastic. You're already feeling much better, right? Just the simple practice of treating ourselves right, of stepping up and becoming something that's a little bit closer to what we're able to be, improving our character will always improve our health. And improving our health will usually always improve our character. But sometimes when we're trying to improve our health, we're just getting distracted, right? Ooh, the pee strips. Ooh, the glucometer. The little god that I have fed my blood to has told me I'm a failure today. Oh, no. I don't know whose voice that is. That's just my voice that maybe, like when I'm feeling weak and helpless, that would be how I would talk. I'm not making fun of anybody here, but come on now. Peace, mercy, grace. Great name. You want to cure depression, and your mood is already much, much better. There's a big link between depression and inflammation. Inflammation in the gut, inflammation in the brain. Depression, anxiety, fear, hatred, bitterness, anger. That's what they feed you through the television. Cut that crap out. Focus on life. Focus on the real relationships you have around you. Clean up your area. Clean out the drawers in the mind. It's our decision, right? Our health is in our hands. All right. Let's see. Do you like football? Nah, I'm not really into football. Just like I'm not into like Democrat, Republican, or like simulated fake warfare. I don't know. I played baseball and soccer as a kid. Football was just so far from me. I wasn't a big guy when I grew up. I was like a little bit chubby and wasn't super strong or anything. So football was never an option. And I didn't really like team sports. I played baseball and soccer, but I really didn't like the dynamic of the parents fighting, and I don't know. It was just, I wasn't such a big fan. I had fun. Had a lot of fun with baseball. Soccer too. All right. I'm gonna start wrapping this up, guys. But I really liked the last little. Whoa, dude, Devin Triantos, Devin. I'll stay on now and talk to Devin. Devin, who I used to live with 10 years ago, commented earlier. That's my buddy. I've known Devin since I was 19 years old. Devin, what's up, man? For those of you who watched that one hangout where I showed old pictures of me, Devin, remember my birthday when I was like turned 21 and I ate Burger King Whopper Juniors and drank beer in the morning? You took those pictures with my camera. Oh, man. Devin, I'm glad you're doing well, man. I hope you're still watching. All right. Maybe a couple more. I don't know. Madden Muttfella, what's up, man? Says, thank you for answering my question. I love your content, man. Yeah, that's all good, man. Yeah, look, football, I don't know. Not so into it. It's fascinating, though, right? I just wish that, I don't know, the head injury stuff, and it's just crazy. And I just always got annoyed with how much attention people pay to football and how much little attention people pay to, like, their own character. Like, what's, I don't know, whatever. Volta Speeder 17. It's getting super late in Slovenia. What? That's rad. All right. Ciao, Volta Speeder 17. It's getting late here, too. As you can see, the sun is receding behind the mountains, and I'm about to bounce. Shapy Nails says, keto got me off my anxiety pills. I was on for 4 years. Boom. That's so cool, Shapy. Congratulations. That's really awesome. But keto didn't get you off it, right? It was a tool that ended up helping you unlock that, right? You had to take those steps. You had to make the decision. Keto didn't do it for you. There's something far more profound happening here than just keto saved me, right? Let's keep it in perspective. Keep it in perspective. All right, let's see what else. I don't know. People arguing about other people's personalities. Let's keep it nice here, guys. I don't know who this Dr. Bird guy is, but don't bash him. But is it better than like worshiping Beyonce? Says Madden. But who's on the halftime show at the Super Bowl? And what are they doing? Huh? What are they doing at the halftime show at the Super Bowl? Isn't that fascinating? I mean, it's bread and circuses. Same thing. Look, there's nothing wrong with sports. There's nothing wrong with physical activity, right? It's just in context. It's all about context. Beyonce. Freaking Jay-Z and Beyonce. What sellouts, right? Just completely selling out their fellow man. For those of, I don't know, people might think I'm being so negative. They don't know what I'm talking about. McGregor or Mayweather? Oh, I want McGregor to win. Come on. Everyone wants McGregor to win. Everybody's wanted Mayweather to lose for years. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Is it really that important? Not really. Is it entertaining? Yeah. McGregor versus Mayweather. That's Friday. What's today? Wednesday? Is it Friday or Saturday? That's going to be a fascinating fight. I can't wait to see that. All right, everybody. Madden Muttfella, Clary Dent, Susie Baker. Let's see. Sonia Nyberg, Volta Speeder. Everybody who's watching, thank you so much for tuning in, especially Devin Triantos. Big shout out to Devin. Hope all's going well, man. I remember that night when we went to that day and night where we went to Lake Tahoe and we got stuck on the closed road and we had to get towed out and we had like several police encounters that were really fun. And we went to that bar. None of us were 21 and we all used your ID, right? And we all used your ID. All right, man. Devin, nice seeing you on here, bud. Everybody else who tuned in, nice seeing you guys. Thanks for tuning in. You can find more at primaledgehealth.com. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about fasting. How about we all try to fast off of fear and anger and hatred and nonsense on the television, except Game of Thrones. Gotta finish that this weekend. All right. I'll see you guys next time. primaledgehealth.com. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for asking your questions. Hope it was helpful. Check out primaledgehealth.com. Get yourself a copy of the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual for low carbohydrate, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. It is a training manual to help you unlock your skills in the Keto Kitchen so that you can be successful long-term with your habit formation, because you got to formulate long-term habits if you want to change your body and your life. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you guys next time. Get off the TV, get off social media, and go do something in the real world. Go look someone in the eyes. Go have a meaningful interaction with somebody. Speak the truth. All right, bye.